Okay, so it is 11 something on Monday, and I had a heck of a night. My mom's a trooper. She had lost. I'm walking to go get some lunch. She had lost a tremendous amount of blood on Sunday, and probably, Saturday night, Sunday. Probably a complication from the surgery she had to, take a peek at what's going on inside her and to put in a stent to try to open up her bile duct. And thank goodness my sister Loretta didn't freak out, and my mom didn't. But so the nurses and the doctors tried to stabilize her, and then about 11 o'clock finally, we had to wait a long time to get some scans before they could proceed with the transfusion, and they gave my mom a massive blood transfusion. And what was fortunate about the whole deal was watching the rapid response nurses take care of my mom. More importantly, they're basically rock star nurses, and typically work in the ICU, but they were being lent into the PCU where my mom was moved because of the severity or the seriousness of her situation. And it was neat to watch them. I won't say neat, but it was remarkable watching them work and getting that blood into my mom as quickly as possible. So it was a lot of blood. So they could do the surgery to stop the bleeding inside her. And they weren't messing around. They had her ready to go. And as soon as the OR was ready at midnight, they rushed her down. The surgical team was awesome, explaining what was going to happen. And their estimates were spot on. And they came back with her and told me they think they got it. And that was, I told me it would take about an hour and a half. It took them an hour and a half. They were back in the room shortly before 2 a.m. But the only problem was yesterday, also because of the bleeding, there was a tremendous amount of pressure in her abdomen. She was in excruciating pain. My mom has a high pain tolerance, and it got bad really quick, to the point where she needed a lot of morphine. And so when she came back at 2 a.m., she was fine, but by 2:30, that pain had come back. Not as severe as it was, but it was bad enough where she was in agony. So we got some more morphine, and that took care of, one little unit took care of it, and she was nice and relaxed and could sleep. Well, then that's what I was going to talk about. I knew this, but man, when you're in this kind of situation, it's really hard to sleep because you're constantly being woken up. And it's a good thing because the team is trying to make sure the patient is doing well. And we're talking literally every once an hour. So there's only so much sleeping you can do. And again, my mom's a trooper for how you doing? Have a good ride. And getting her finger pricked and blood taken constantly, and they're constantly taking blood samples so they can keep an eye on the internal bleeding, because the hemoglobin count will tell them whether or not she's losing blood. And that, all this said, her blood counts are great at 5 a.m. and she's stable now. We managed to get some sleep. Looks like the bleeding has stopped, and we'll be here at the very least till Wednesday, and probably a couple days to recoup for her to go to do the surgery that was scheduled for this morning, and that's to put in a bile duct to help relieve some of the bile in her blood because it's just getting backed up. And that's the other thing is with her. I didn't realize this. You know, when you're in a hospital, you don't look good. And my mom, I thought she looked fine. But she definitely had some jaundice. Wasn't so that bad in her face, but is apparently much worse on her back and shoulders. But it wasn't until she came back after the transfusion, after surgery, she looked great. Face was nice and swollen. But she had her color back, and you just don't know like what her natural color was because you just hadn't seen her for the last 48 hours looking the way she did. And so that will probably change, only because the bile will start to build back up in her blood. And unless by a miracle, that little stent they put in, which kind of caused the bleeding, but you know, they had to do it, works its magic. But I don't think they're planning for that, and just gonna go ahead and put a drain in just to be on the safe side, and do a couple more biopsies on her liver because it has spread. And you know, there was one glimmer of hope, but I maybe misunderstood as far as they wanted to do a liver biopsy only because they wanted to see if that was metastatic cancer spots on her liver, which chances are they are. But I just assumed like, well, maybe the 2 masses in my mom's pancreas aren't metastatic, but I think she meant the spots on her liver to see if they were metastatic. You know, trying to be realistic, optimist, and I don't, it's not looking good, and everyone here is telling me it's not looking good, and it's just a matter of managed care. And the surgeon was very good at reinforcing that. And, as far as what decisions to be made, as far as, how many more procedures that she needs to have done, and whether or not what she's going to have done on Wednesday is even necessary. But we'll get the biopsies results from the first endoscopic scrape, which was on Saturday, on this Wednesday. So it'll coincide with when they have to go back in to put the duct in. But yeah, so then that, again, man, trying to function on like totally jacked sleep is crazy. And the other thing is we moved my mom into the PCU, which is the progressive care unit. I'm learning all this stuff, and which is one step below ICU, mainly to monitor my mom and better. And because of that, the room was smaller, like half the size of what she had before, and we were absolutely spoiled with the room that she had before. And I had to sleep sitting up in a chair with a semi-recliner, but it could have been a lot worse. Okay, it was practice for sitting in an airport waiting for a plane to show up. But yeah, I'm gonna go try to get some lunch now. But thanks for watching.